want to know where do these stand? Where do these stand in your eyes? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sensation Nation. I am super excited about my guest and my subject for today. The subject for today is going to be about sneakers. The title of this episode, Sneakerhead. I am super excited to talk about shoes because when I grew up with very, very, very humble beginnings. I could not afford the name brand shoes. I didn't have them. I couldn't afford them. In fact, some of my friends used to feel so bad for me that they would give me their hand-me-down sneakers and stuff like that. And sometimes they would be too big and I would be walking around looking like a clown with these big shoes, but they were name brands though. And I always said that when I got older, I was going to buy every pair of name brand sneakers that I could get my hands on. But I will tell you, I got older and I didn't do that. Like, I like spending money, but I like saving money when I spend money. So I end up going for the discount sneakers, the discount Jordans. And my kids give me a hard time. And I'm going to ask my guest to give me his feedback on my shoes, because usually I go buy these cheap Jordans and these cheap shoes and I think I'm killing the game. And then my son will be like, no, those aren't it. But I'm like, but Jordans are Jordans. I didn't really understand. and so my guest today is a subject matter expert when it comes to sneakers. I've got a lot of sneakerhead friends in my circle. I got some sneakerhead family members in my circle, and they know and they have every pair of new sneakers, especially Jordans, before they come out. A few episodes ago, I had one of my mentors on, Colonel Gabe Rock, who is also a sneakerhead. And I told him, I think at the time, I was like, man, you're one of the coolest colonels I've ever seen. But I think there might be somebody that can give him a run for his money. So
that's me, Gabe. That's me, Gabe.
So with
Come
that,
on, man.
ladies and gentlemen, my guest, Colonel, retired Spanky Snyder. Sir, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Shooter. Appreciate you having me on here to talk about sneakers. Yeah, I'm a fanatic. I was online this morning at the gym bidding on sneakers. Unfortunately, I didn't get the Tiffany Air Force Ones that were released. Man, those would have been nice. But you mentioned that we were talking earlier about having skinny legs, and I probably wouldn't wear them. I'd just probably display them in my garage. But yeah, I lost out on those. I was pretty disappointed. But thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can talk a little bit more about my sneaker obsession. It's pretty bad because my wife, Holly, she gets on me that I got more shoes than she does. And so now it's bleeding over to my son, who was actually playing basketball in Air Jordan 1s. There was a unique release earlier this year called the Lost and Found.
Oh.
And yeah, he was playing actually basketball. So I wanted to make sure that he looked good. That way, if he double dribbled, he would look good. But he actually played a little bit better wearing Air Jordans on. So, but he really enjoyed it. Now they're on display, and he can only wear those to school. He can't wear them out playing around in the mud or anything like that. But,
nice.
Thanks again for having me on here. And so let's talk about what you mentioned about sneakers. So, man, I started when the Jordan 1s came out. I had the first pair, had them every year. I used to save up, beg my parents for Jordans. And I actually got beat up too for my Jordans a little bit. Matter of fact, I made a huge mistake. I left a pair of fresh new Jordan 3s on my porch in Charleston, South Carolina. Oh gosh! And somebody stole them.
Rightfully
stole
so,
them, man.
Rightfully so. You can't leave those out.
So, yeah, as soon as I caught the bus, I was like looking to see who had my sneakers on. You know. Yeah. But
how did you? But I want to know how, because you mentioned something about your son. And wearing the Jordans. And it's kind of funny. You said, if he double dribbles, he'll look good. Because everything that I've ever done in my life, I'm like, you look good, you feel good, right? That's like half the battle, but how did you develop your passion and your love for just sneakers? At what point did that start?
So I was in high school. I mean, it was a big thing to have, the nicest shoes, no creases. And I grew up in an era where when you bought them, you took them out of the box and you still wore them with the tags on, right?
Yep.
Plus, I was a Navy junior ROTC as well. And we used to have a shoe shining contest. And so I would take low quarters, shine them up with a glass shine, use some edge dressing. And that's how I treated my sneakers. So I wanted to look good in uniform. Plus, outside of uniform, I wanted to have, some great sneakers on. And it hasn't always been Jordans because I was always an Air Jordan fan. But I've always liked, Dave Robinson. I had the pumps. I had Sean Kemp's shoes. I had all those things. And, it was just great being able to collect sneakers and looking awesome in school. But also, I carried that through when I was Navy JROTC. Plus, when I joined the military, I used to shine my shoes every couple of days and put edge dressing on my shoes because of the attention to detail.
Of course.
I wanted to have that detail and that look. Plus, I had to make sure my shoes matched my belt, and if I was wearing a hat, that had to match as well.
Of course.
Yeah, and I used to watch I used to have the tag on my hat too. But I thought that was kind of bad. I just slept it on my sneakers.
When you're speaking my language, that's how I grew up. I just thought it was a Georgia thing, and you keep the tags on and all that stuff. Now we keep the tags on in case we want to return it after we wear it.
That's right. We wear it. So we wear it, and then we're like, I don't like these pants. So I'm going to take them to the store. Put them in.
I see you got several pairs of shoes back there. If you had to guess, I'll start with Jordans. How many pairs of Jordans do you think you have?
So I have 33 pairs of Jordans. Not from childhood, but I started collecting again in 2015 when I was stationed in Ohio. My first pair was the black and gray Shadow Lows. I still have them. I don't have them behind me. But I've had them, and they're kind of like my daily wearers. Because you have Jordans that you wear at night when you're going out, or if you want to test your shoe game and you want to have a conversation going with another sneakerhead, because you never know who you may run into.
Right.
So about 33 pairs, and I wear all of them. I wear all of them. Some of them I have that little crease, the insert you put in.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no creases. Some of them I just let the creases go and, wear them dirty, But I do clean my sneakers, man. Every time after I wear them, I got to clean them off.
I was like that when I was younger. I got older, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I ended up switching to a different type of shoe, and I think that's kind of like my version of Jordans, and I'll bring it up here in a second. But I wanted to ask you, because you brought it up, the creases. Like I was joking with my wife earlier before I started recording, and I was like, man, how do people go about not getting creases in their shoes? I'm like, man, they have to walk like this, like they're trying not to bend their toes.
You got to waterproof them, man. As soon as you get them, you waterproof them. You clean them off, you waterproof them. And then they have these insoles you can put in your sneakers, and you can wear them with no creases, man. That's number one.
So creases, just for the folks that are watching and listening, creases are a no-no when it comes to the Jordans. You got to keep them free of creases. So I want to ask you now, like, what do you think, from what you can recall, is the most you've ever paid for a pair of sneakers?
Oh, man. Is my wife watching this?
She will be.
So I think the most I've paid was about $400. And they were a used pair that I had refurbished. I lived in Vegas for a year. And I knew somebody that was able to refurbish sneakers, and I paid $400. They were refurbished, very rare sneaker. And I think that sneaker is probably worth about $1,700 right now.
Ooh, that's an investment.
And yeah, it is an investment. They even have a stock market for sneakers.
Oh, no kidding.
There's a place called StockX. I'm not advertising.
Oh yeah, that's what my son talked about. Yeah.
So you can actually go see the value of sneakers that are out there. But I'm a big fan. I buy new, but I also buy used too. You can get a good deal on used sneakers. You just got to make sure that they got the box and show some type of receipt or to show that they're authentic.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of replicas out there. But yeah, I'd say about $400 or $500 is the most I paid. They're up in value, and I actually wear them.
So you talked about the replicas because you got to be careful. A long time ago, one of my friends, and if you're watching this, you know who you are. He was in Korea, and he said he thought so highly of me that he sent me these Jordans. And I was looking at this Jordans. I was rocking these Jordans, just wearing them everywhere. It was like probably the best pair of Jordans I thought I had ever had. But it was just something about the way that the Jordan was looking on the shoe. His leg just wasn't quite right.
Was it reversed or his leg?
I was like, I don't think he's about to dunk. I think he's about to do a layup. So how is one to tell? What is the thing to look for to make sure that you have real Jordans?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I am. So you said I'm a subject matter expert, but it's tough these days. I mean, sometimes it's the material. Sometimes it's in the insole on how the stitching. If you take the insole out, the way it's been stitched. Some folks. They're so good at it. They could tell based on the smell of the leather when they put it up to their face. Yeah, they're like. I'm like, how can you tell? And he goes like, nope, that's not it. Oh, I had one fall, man. But sometimes they'll go up and they'll smell it and they'll go, man, these aren't real. Or, hey, the trim on these sneakers right here, that's not real leather.
What?
You got too many yeah, there is, I'm telling you, they can tell the box is fake. They can tell the wrapping's fake, even the laces of the quality. They'll get to a point where, they're like, hey, man, these are replicas. But believe it or not, people will pay good money for replicas because they're like, hey, they're doing the Ocho Cinco, right? Ocho Cinco saved a lot of money. He was like, hey, I wear fake jewelry, I've been wearing replica sneakers for a while. People don't know unless they have a trained eye. But most of the time, people will look at them and at first look, they'll be able to tell right away.
That's a sneaker connoisseur.
Even the weight, even the stuff they use to pack it, yeah, they can tell you right away if it's a copy or not.
That just blew my mind. I actually had no idea. Like you could it's like people with the diamonds. Like I could tell if they are holding up $100 bill. Like this isn't real. Like that's just
that's exactly right.
That's just
exactly
crazy.
Right.
So I'm gonna guess that your favorite brand of sneaker is the Air Jordan. That's my guess. Now out of that. Which is your favorite version of Air Jordan?
So I'm a big fan of the ones, just because of the different colorways, and it's an authentic sneaker. It broke the mold in the NBA because everybody used to wear Converse, and they were white or black, and then Jordan came out with the stuff that's banned, red and black, red, white, and black.
Right.
It started the sneaker culture, and it broke a mold, and it was a defining moment. Right. Ones right now are probably my favorite. I would say probably the first two or three. Once you get into the 11s or the 12s, it really gets exotic. And I'm like, hey, I'm an older guy. I could still rock the ones, but some of the new ones that Zion is making up, or LeBron's making up. Man, they're a little clunky on me, but I will tell you, the ones are it.
I gotcha. So it's the ones. That's your fave. So you mentioned earlier at one point in time that there was this almost like this stock market exchange for sneakers, StockX. So first I want to ask you, because I remember those days. I never did it. I actually think I did it for someone else, but I remember the days. Hey, the Jordans are coming out. Like you're standing in line and you're gonna be there. People have stood out in line overnight, holding their space just to get these Jordans and things like that. Have you ever done that?
So as a kid, yes.
Okay.
As a kid, yes. Same thing you would. If Snoop Dogg's first album came out, it was in line at 1:00 in the morning. Matter of fact, I was great to get his tape. A lot of y'all don't know what tapes are, but I remember those days.
That's right. But
the game has changed with sneakers because now they have bots. You got world-class hackers out there now that have these bots that they'll win drawings. They'll buy like 15 sneakers automatically. They'll create, 50 different email accounts and logins just to get the hottest sneaker on the market. So the game has changed where you don't actually have to wait in line at the store. Now you can still do that. And they have drawings at the store, but they have virtual drawings now. And the sneaker game has changed because those bots, they'll buy 100 pairs and then they'll sell them for double face value or whatever it may be going on with StockX.
Wow.
And then you'll see those prices drop. They may go up if it's a high release like a Travis Scott. There's a new shoe that's coming out for the new SpiderMan movie. That's a new SpiderMan 1 that's coming out. That hasn't even come out yet, and the stock on that is $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. So so you can imagine that the bots are going crazy when that shoe is going to be released.
So the game has changed. It is literally a game at this point. It's kind of like it's an automatic game, and it just happens now, which is crazy. If I remember, I actually think I saw a friend of mine who was also a fellow sneakerhead. I think he said that the baby blues or the baby powder blues are coming back out or something like that. I
got the golf ones. I got the golf ones. Those are very rare. Yeah, the baby blues with the white. So this is one of the shoes that I won in a lottery, right? It was on sneakers on the app. And this is a very rare shoe. And the reason why it's rare is because it has chai on the back. And yes, these are real. They smell real. Okay. All right. I know you guys are looking out there looking to see, okay.
They can't smell through the screen. They can't smell through the screen, but they're looking.
Look, man, I wear them. These are dirty. Okay. So but this is the last time that I won a drawing was for these shoes. And I've tried my heart out, and those bots are killing me. And I was a cyber officer. I was a true leader, and I don't have any bots to get these shoes. But I tell you what, man, I also need to flex too in the shoe game because I'm not standing in line anymore, man.
I hear you. I hope that Holly's listening, right? And we talked about the amount of shoes you have, the amount that you've invested in them. And I use the word invest because you talked to me about the value and how it can increase. But you and I chatted about a week or so ago, and I believe not just the shoes can increase in value, but the boxes they come in. I think you have a box that's actually worth quite some money, right?
Yeah. So my son's box that came in, the lost and found, it looks like the box that if you were to buy the ones back in the day, the box looks like it's worn. You unwrap it. It has the same paper. It even has a yellow slip that says, "Hey, paid in full." That used to get, before there were computers and they ran your credit card. But yeah, that box, I want to say, hey, it might be worth like $40, $50, just the box alone.
Ooh.
So I put that box on the high shelf in my garage and I said, "Man, don't you ever touch that box."
See, that's an investment. Yeah. It's an investment all the way around from the packaging to the shoes. Just listen, everybody. It's an investment. It's not just.
Yes, it is. It's an investment in yourself too, because you gotta be able to look good. You got to be able to say, "Hey, I got Jordans. They're conversation pieces."
Yes.
Just like the military challenge coins that we get. I got those too, but you got to have shoes.
You look good. You feel good. And that brings me to my next point, right? Mm-hmm. You've heard statements about, you can tell a lot about a person by their shoes, or you'll hear some people say, shoes don't make the man makes the shoe, so on and so forth, right? So what are your thoughts on being able to kind of tell a little bit about a person by the shoes they wear?
It gets back to that attention to detail. If you're at a meeting, if you're out, your shoes are nice, polished, clean. It gets back to that. Okay, this is how that person carries themselves. If you have somebody that's, at an office meeting and the shoes are dirty, you're like, man, it's like, hey, where's the attention to detail at? Make sure your shoes look good. Make sure you have nice socks on. Even when you're out and about, it says a lot. It says a lot. If you're going out shopping or if you're hanging out with friends, it says a lot about a person, And like I said, I wear them. Conversation pieces. I enjoy talking to other sneakerheads. You'd be surprised if I'm out, looking for other sneakers, right?
Yeah.
It'll be like, hey, the people come up, man, I love those Jordans. And all of a sudden they may give you an offer, right on the spot.
Yeah. They're just like, I'm going to buy those right off your feet right now.
So I was at the Y playing basketball with my son, and I have Kyrie Irving's his second piece that he released, and they're black with a Tiffany bottom. And I bought them because I love playing basketball too. With some ibuprofen and some stretching, I love playing basketball. It's usually in an over 45 league, but yeah, this guy came up to me. I mean, he was like 7'2", and I'm like, listen, if you want to challenge me, okay, I'm shooting from the outside. But he was really like, he's like, hey man, why are you wearing those sneakers out here? He goes, those are Kyrie's that came out years ago. He goes, do you know how much those are worth? And I'm like, no. So I got on StockX. Yeah. And the guy was like, yeah, you better take those off and clean them up because they're worth a lot of money right now. And I'm like, come on. I was like, hey, brand new, they're worth about $1,400. I'm like, man, I was scrubbing them off, man. I was scrubbing them.
It's like I'm playing the rest of this game barefoot right now.
Yeah. But so I can't sell them because they make me play better, right?
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, they make me jump a little bit higher.
That's right.
Now my broad jump is 3 credit cards high. It used to be 2. Now it's 3.
So I talked to you earlier about, how I grew up, couldn't afford the shoes, so on and so forth. And, and I'm getting to my original thing that I said I was going to get to. But first, because I want some help here because my son he shakes his head at me with my shoe selection when it comes to my sneaker selection. So I got a couple behind me, it's nothing even close to what you have. So I want to know where do these stand? Where do these stand in your eyes?
Hey, so I like those. And the reason why I like those because they're different and people shy away. They're like, they're a little too busy, but it's your personality, right? It's your personality. And those are kind of like a hybrid look. You got some mixture of the different types, the different numbers. But hey, if you keep them clean and you rock them well, that's all that matters. Okay. Okay. If they're a cheaper pair, that's fine too, man. You just got to be able to rock them.
This is the
Put
one.
Some good socks in there.
This is the one he really gives me a hard time about. He's like, those are just too big and clunky.
I see. So I like the colors. Now that's probably from the Team USA. Probably a couple players that wore them from Team USA, and it's just I like those because it's a unique look. Yeah. Now you may want to change the laces in it. Make it pop a little bit.
Yeah, I've got different color laces for him.
Oh yeah.
So these aren't Jordans. These are just kind of some neon, and you can't really tell, but they change colors, and depending on the light and all this other stuff too.
Are those Air Force Ones?
These are Air Force Ones, neon, and they change colors in the light. All that. So
I like them. I like them, man.
The only ones so these are, I think, probably decent ones, but they actually used to be his. He wore them to his prom with his tux, but he was just like, those are mids. They'll make fun of me if I wear mids.
Yeah, but look at the material though. It shines, it looks good. So my son really loves these. Right. Okay. And so these are what they call infrared, and then I have laces on it that say shoelaces. Because you gotta let everybody know that you got shoelaces on. And then these are another my favorite. Now this is a women's shoe. Oh. Right. So if you want to be part of the sneaker game, this is a women's shoe that I bought. It's a 10.5 men's, but this is a women's shoe that was released. I just love the colorware. And you just tell your son, man, just push him away. If he starts talking trash, you just push him out of the way and say, you know what, I'm going to rock my shoes the way I want to rock them.
So he has
because Spanky Snyder said I could rock my shoes if I want.
That's right. So I'm finally at the point that I wanted to get to. So, shoes. I love shoes. I like to look good. I like to dress up. That's kind of my thing, right? So Jordans are kind of your thing. I am a Stacey Adams man. You know,
Yes,
I have
very nice. See?
my various Stacey Adams that I rock, you know.
Hey, man, that's what I'm talking about. You can rock those.
I kill these every day. And, you know, I feel like this is like my version of the Air Jordans. You know, I don't stand in line for them or nothing like that or get them off StockX, but it's like what you said. It just makes you feel good, makes you stand up a little bit taller, and whatever that is for you. And I saw your quote that you shared on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago, and it went something like, "If I ever let my head down, it is to admire my shoes." Can you elaborate on that just a little bit?
Yeah. So, first of all, when I was in my career, if I was squadron commander or group commander, you know, we all have bad days, right? And I've always told airmen, listen, if you ever see my head down, come over and say something. Don't be afraid. Say something, you know, because we have bad days too. Even though I'm a positive guy, we always have bad days. And I always said, hey, if I do have my head down, I'm probably looking at that, you know, speck on my boot. I need to get off because I have to be clean. But yeah, sometimes you have bad days. And I think once you look down and, you know, it gets back to that attention to detail. And it just goes back to my days when I was a commander that, you know, hey, you know, it's okay to put your head down, admire what you have in life. Mm-hmm. And, you know the fact that the next day is going to be better. And I appreciate those airmen, those young airmen, some of them right out of freaking boot camp or tech school. They're like, oh man, I got to go talk to a colonel because his head's down. I said, absolutely. You better. Because that's what I expect from you. And by the way, man, I love your shoes because I do know a therapist that you can use after your collection, after you start broadening your collection, after this video right here, this video chat, as you start to broad, I have a therapist for us. So,
oh, nice, nice.
Yeah,
see,
yeah, and don't forget, you know, you need a secret credit card. That way nobody knows except for you. Buying these sneakers and your shoes, man. But I love them. They look like great.
I appreciate that. And so with the LinkedIn quote that you shared, I also want to ask you, is there any way that folks can reach out to you, maybe get some mentorship? I know you have a LinkedIn account. Is that the best way to find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn would be great. Brian Snyder. It doesn't have Spanky out there. Everybody tries to figure out, you know, what's the story behind Spanky? Is it something else? It's dealing with the little rascals and my young looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, reach out on LinkedIn. Some of the viewers may have me on Facebook. You can reach out to me there. And I'm available. I've told people I'm available anytime.
Perfect.
Especially if they're having a tough time. I'm available anytime for mentorship. Or anything like that. My views on leadership, and I'm pretty transparent.
That's very awesome.
And if you need a shoulder to lean on, you got me. Even if I don't know you, if you're just looking for somebody to have a shoulder to lean on or some advice, please give me a holler. Guaranteed, awesome. I've been through it. I've been through it. The struggles and burden of command, but also the highlights of being in a leader position.
Wow. That's the beauty and the benefit of having folks like you on, because there's positivity out there that just needs to be shared. And
that's contagious, man. It is contagious. Attitude
Absolutely.
is everything. Attitude is everything. Even when you face failure.
That's right.
Attitude is everything. You got to lift your heads up and grind through it, because there's a light at the end of the tunnel for sure.
Facts. And speaking of positivity, I always end my show on a positive note with something that's a little bit fun, and it's called "What Do You Prefer?" So I'm going to spout off 10 good questions for you, and just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. You know,
is this like a speed? Is this like
it's
a
speed date? That's right. So this has been a highly debated subject over the last few weeks when it comes to grits. Do you prefer to eat them with sugar or salt and pepper?
Oh, if they're from Waffle House, it'll be salt and pepper.
Boom.
But I rarely do it unless it's like 3:00 in the morning.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's right. Sports, football or basketball?
I have to say football. I'm a diehard Philadelphia sports fan.
I see that.
And I talk a lot of trash. And, especially those Dallas Cowboy fans, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, I probably lean more towards football, but basketball's a close second for sure.
Okay. Read a book or watch a movie?
Watch a movie. I'm tired of reading, and I'm tired of reading books. I did it throughout my career. I understand, reading a good book is great, but I'd much rather watch a good movie.
Perfect. Now, I think I know the answer to this one. Lift weights or take a run?
Oh, man, lift. Man,
we don't need no leg days around here.
No leg days around here, man. We're team pants, wear pants all year long, right? You got to lift weights, but you do it quickly and you don't lift heavy, more reps.
There you go.
Especially if you're over 45.
That's right. Got to take care of that body. Speaking of taking care of your body, which is kind of like the opposite of taking care of your body. Question number 5, whiskey or beer?
Yeah. Oh, whiskey. Hands down, on the rocks. Whiskey on the rocks. Love it. Hands down. I'm actually starting to enjoy some of the flavor whiskey. I got some cookie dough whiskey.
Oh.
That I'm gonna partake in. A little bit sweet.
Okay.
But yeah, I know the bourbon head. The bourbon connoisseurs, the whiskey connoisseurs are gonna be like, man, you're drinking whiskey, flavored whiskey? Come on.
Dessert whiskey.
It's dessert whiskey,
Next time I'm in your area, I want to try some of that.
Absolutely.
Number 6, iPhone or Droid?
iPhone.
Boom. Thank you.
iPhone Max.
iPhone
Max.
There you go. Vacation, beach or mountains?
I got to go to the beach.
Okay.
Hey man, I lift, man, so I got to show that body. So
just stand in the water though, so they can't see your legs.
Right. I'll run out to the water real quick so you can't see the legs. I wear those longer shorts too, to at the kneecaps.
That's right. Number 8, jeans or slacks?
I love jeans, but I probably wear slacks a lot more. Just because I've been working on my golf game.
Oh yeah, I know.
So yeah, I'm more on the slack side. Plus I'm an avid bowler too.
I know. I see the bowling pin back there.
I can't be bowling in jeans.
This is the man that bowls perfect scores, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like literally perfect scores. You referenced this next one is going to have an option, and you referenced this person with regard to your Jordans actually. Do you prefer Batman or Spider-Man?
Definitely Spider-Man.
I figured.
Come on, man. Yeah, come on.
And last but not least, music, jazz or blues?
If I were to have a choice, now I love hip hop.
I know.
I grew up with some old school hip hop. We start talking LL Cool J, Run DMC, Third Bass. Oh man, if it was live, probably blues.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I know you are. Yeah. You are also a hip hop head, so that's a tough subject for another day. So I know we've talked about that before.
Man, you can bring me back.
That's right.
Okay? You can bring me back.
So, sir, let me tell you.
I also won a beatbox contest in college. So if you have a beatbox contest, I still got some game. So if anybody wants to challenge me, you can do it.
Yeah, Gabe Rock, if you're listening, I think he just got one leg up on you for the coolest colonel. So I just want you to know that, Gabe Rock.
I'm also a breakdancer too, and I still got some moves. I know there's some pictures out there in Dayton, Ohio during that Christmas party. I got an airman that wanted to challenge me how to dance, and it was an end of story. It was over. Just like the dunk contest, man. McClung, man, when he hit that dunk, it was over with. So.
That's it. 10. Perfect 10s, baby. Perfect 10s.
No, it actually wasn't that good. I think I hurt myself. I pulled out my hip flexor. It's no big deal.
Listen, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking some time to spend with Sensation Nation. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Shooter, for having me. I know we had a great time talking about sneakers, and I just want to rehome in on one thing. The folks that serve out there, I know I'm retired. I know there's been a lot of joking, but I've always taken my service very seriously.
Absolutely.
But you got to be genuine out there. And I'm not afraid, even as a colonel. I was like, hey, I'm a sneakerhead too. You got to be genuine because people will see that. No, appreciate you, Shooter. Appreciate your leadership. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. The sneakerhead of all sneakerheads. Thank you for spending some time with Sensation Nation. Until next time, I'm out.
Peace. See ya.